my children! The cape and costume crowd prefers their heroes to be good-natured folks who prefer earthly justice. Even the precious Batman will not kill his enemies. Today, however, we shall talk of a hero whose justice is more divine and poetic. The Spectre!
While there are heroes out there who have magic to thank for their superpowers, there are few who actually consort with the realms of the otherworldly as much as the Spectre does. The Spectre is literally the wrath of God made manifest in a pale man wearing green underpants and a cape.
What? When you're God's angel of death and wrath and punishment and stuff, I think you're allowed to wear whatever the hell you want.
The character seemed to be more neutered, for lack of a better word, when he became more involved with the Justice Society comics in the Golden Age. However, his original stories were full of death and vengeance, ironic punishments that destroyed those with evil in their hearts. But who is the Spectre besides that wrath, This is the story of police detective Jim Corrigan, who got a little too close to an investigation into gangsters. They kidnapped him, shoved him in a barrel, and filled it with concrete before tossing him out to sea. Overkill perhaps, but it did the job. For all of 5 seconds, he was resurrected as the Spectre, and as time has gone on, his power levels only seem to increase. Today we travel back to the early 1970s with a controversial storyline collected as the Wrath of the Spectre. It is admittedly very formulaic. A crime is committed, Jim Corrigan investigates, finds the culprits, and destroys the criminals in various horrible ways. A man is scissored in half, or melts like wax, or even just reduced to a mere skeleton. Oh, how delightfully dark, my children! Bear in mind, this came out only a few months into what is considered the Bronze Age of comics, only a few months after the Silver Age, full of colorful antics that could be considered laughable and goofy, had come to an end. These days, graphic disembowelments and gory deaths are rather commonplace in superhero stories, but at the time, this was no doubt considered too risque for the readers. What did contribute to these stories, however, and would start shaping the Bronze Age, was building story continuity and change. A love interest was introduced. A reporter began investigating the Spectre and trying to prove to the world that he existed, and Jim Corrigan himself began to have doubts about his mission to eliminate evil and never have earthly ties to friends and loved ones. The story was cut short with a few scripts still having been written, and later in 1988 they were drawn and published as the final part of a mini-series reprinting the tales. Was it closure on the character and his storyline? No, not really, but it did show the risks that comic creators were taking at a time where stories began to evolve to a new level. And of course, the character who was so ahead of his time was among the dead.
Wrath of the Spectre is a grisly tale, my children. Perhaps tame by today's standards, but it has forever earned its place of honor in the Longbox!